ended up being bitten to death by zombies. Unexpectedly, I was reborn, returning to 3 days before the outbreak. This time I will live well and see those two pay for their actions. When the alarm rang abruptly, jolting me awake, and I gasped for breath. The pain of being devoured by zombies seemed all too real, and the sound of the alarm only heightened my tension. At that moment, Duan-Su sat up slowly from the bed and reached out to turn off the alarm. What's wrong? An alarm scared you like this? I turned to look at his familiar face and felt a wave of nausea. Not long ago, he had thrown me out for the housekeeper he was having an affair with, and I was quickly overwhelmed by zombies lurking in the hallway. How was I now lying safely at home, ignoring Duan-Su? I grabbed my phone and checked the date. August 14th, I had returned to 3 days before the zombie outbreak. As Duan-Su rested his head on my shoulder, I resisted the urge to push him away. Duan-Su had been my boyfriend for 7 years, a freeloading opportunist I inexplicably tolerated. After the outbreak, I discovered that our housekeeper, Su Qing, was his lover. Those traitors used my resources and kicked me out when supplies ran low. Holding my phone silently for too long, Duan-Su asked, "What's up today?" starting the day with a sour face. I shook my head and picked up Pudding, my little ginger cat, to calm myself. I just remembered I need to leave for a business trip for a few days and forgot to tell you yesterday. I'll take Pudding to be boarded at the pet shop later, so you don't have to worry about him. Pudding was my little orange tabby cat, and as he lay quietly in my arms, I felt tears well up. Growing up in an orphanage meant I had no family, and Pudding was as close as it got. On the 5th day after the outbreak, Su Qing encouraged Duan-Su to cruelly kill Pudding. I wanted to fight them both to the death, but as one person I was outmatched. Eventually thrown out to become zombie feed. Given a second chance, I resolved to live well with Pudding. 2 As Duan-Su and I left the room, Su Qing came out of the kitchen with breakfast in hand. On seeing us, she forced a smile. "Morning, sis, Suji." Feigning interest in my phone, I ignored her, while Duan-Su took the tray from her and casually squeezed her hand. How blind I must have been to miss their brazen behavior. Disgusted by their antics, I sat down at the table. "Su Qing, pack my luggage," I commanded as she stood there unwillingly. Duan-Su chimed in, "She's heading out on a business trip. Hurry up and don't delay her." Whether it was Duan-Su's urging or delight at my departure, Su Qing went to pack my things. After breakfast, I left with my suitcase and Pudding, not looking back. In the elevator, I turned on the pet camera and watched the traitorous pair getting cozy in the living room, a cold smile playing on my lips. In just 2 days, the outbreak would begin. Let's see how long their happiness would last. Instead of heading to the garage, I went to the property office to ask about available rental units in the building opposite mine. I planned to stay close. The large supermarket nearby would be perfect for stocking up on supplies. Moreover, observing Duan-Su and Su Qing's lives during the apocalypse up close intrigued me. Although I had pet cameras in my previous life, I didn't survive long enough to see if the electricity got cut. Mr. Zhang from the property office showed me 2 units, both spacious and better than my current place. For safety, I chose the 12th floor, signed the contract, and paid the rent on the spot. I unpacked a few comfortable clothes, settled Pudding, and began contacting home improvement companies for upgrades. Both the door and windows needed replacements, and I planned to install solar panels to ensure electricity when the grid failed. The standard colorful steel doors had to go. They were for aesthetics, not security. Solid steel security doors were a must, and I planned to replace the windows with single-pane explosion-proof glass fitted with security bars. The contractor quizzically remarked on my extensive plans. Why renovate this beautiful home so heavily? I had my story ready, explaining that my elderly, memory-challenged relative would be moving in and I needed to ensure their safety. Initially scheduled for installation in 2 days, an extra fee had the workers promising to start that afternoon. After the contractors left, I sat on the sofa contemplating the supplies I needed to purchase, pulling out my phone to start drafting a list. I wasn't planning to buy everything right away since more people were expected in the afternoon. It was best to proceed cautiously. I had ample time. 3 just past noon, the contractors returned with their workers, ready to start immediately. By 1 p.m., all the installations of the doors, windows, and solar panels were complete. Observing the leftover steel from the security bars, I impulsively requested the workers to help build a few stainless steel shelves for the empty room next to the master bedroom. Once the contractors departed, I looked at the shelves intended for storing supplies and felt satisfied enough to head out for shopping. I drove my SUV from the underground garage to the nearby warehouse-style supermarket. Upon arrival, I went straight to the service desk, claiming that I was purchasing supplies for donation to a disaster area and requested direct transfer from their inventory. The customer manager warmly assisted me, and I handed over my list: 150 pounds each of rice, flour, grains, and oil, 30 cartons of eggs, 100 boxes of various instant foods, 200 packs of semi-prepared meals, and 100 packages each of various flavors of frozen dumplings and wontons. Honestly, I can't cook. Typically, I eat food prepared by the housekeeper or order takeout. Therefore, I hadn't considered buying fresh vegetables or meat. I compiled a list of semi-prepared quick meals that I could easily cook, ensuring a more balanced diet beyond instant foods. I added 50 boxes of a brand-specific potato chips, 50 boxes of boneless chicken feet, 20 cartons of soda, 200 cartons of bottled water, and a variety of snacks and drinks. Even in the apocalypse, a foodie must find their joy. Then came the everyday items: toothbrushes, toothpaste, shampoo, shower gel, plus blankets, towels, underwear, pajamas, sanitary pads, tissues, and more. I also wanted 5 of the largest double-door refrigerators and 3 freezers to store frozen foods. Seeing the manager and sales clerk sweat as they tallied the bill, I suddenly thought of the extreme heat that had accompanied the apocalypse previously, so I decided to buy 8 indoor cooling fans. Air conditioner units made too much noise, best to use sparingly. The lengthy bill pained me, but remembering there'd be no place to spend money after the apocalypse, I briskly swiped my card. Though caution advised against revealing my residence with so many supplies, the sheer volume and need for refrigerator and freezer installation compelled me to rely on supermarket delivery. After the delivery staff left, I didn't dare pause to rest. To prevent them from lingering too long, I had them set up the appliances quickly. All supplies were piled at the door, waiting for me to organize them myself. For from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., it took me 4 hours to organize all the supplies. The room next to the guest room was packed to the brim, and I maximized the storage space in the living room to store snacks. Seeing the once empty home transform into a secure, well-stocked refuge for the apocalypse filled me with satisfaction. Checking my phone for the balance, I realized today's spending spree had nearly emptied my savings. Despite working for several years, with the burden of a mortgage and supporting Duan-Su, I hadn't been able to save much. Thankfully, I had most of what I needed. Tomorrow, I just need to buy medicines and supplies for pudding like cat food, canned food, and a cozy cat bed. Lying on the bed with pudding, I started downloading movies and ebooks on my phone, computer, and tablet. Before long, I drifted off to sleep. Perhaps I had overexerted myself the day before. I only got up around noon the next day, feeling sore all over. Looking at the money left in my account, I decided to order some items online to fill the gaps. I placed orders at several pharmacies to get anti-inflammatory drugs, fever reducers, cold medicine, vitamins, and gastrointestinal meds. I also ordered a projector and a high-magnification telescope for same-day delivery, along with a massive amount of cat litter, cat food, and other cat supplies from the pet store. Once everything was set, I posted a message in my workgroup chat. The temperature is set to drop soon. Stock up on food to avoid any issues when the pandemic hits. It was the most I could say without sounding insane. Even mentioning zombies wouldn't have convinced them. In the days I was gone, Duan-Su and Su Qing completely settled into their domestic life. Checking the cameras, I was met with the sickening sight of them entangled on the couch. Soon after, Su Qing draped her arms around Duan-Su's neck, saying, "Su-ji, remember that new bag I wanted last time?" "Sure. I'll get it for you. I'll buy you anything." Duan-Su responded, reaching for his phone as if to transfer money. I smirked. Most of the money in our account was already gone. Where was he planning to get more? True to form, he cursed under his breath after a few taps on the screen and threw the phone onto the sofa in frustration. Noticing something was amiss, Su Qing suggested, "Suji, maybe you should call and check? Let's deal with it when she gets back." "I don't want to hear her voice," he replied. "Go back?" I'd never return again. 5 If memory serves, zombies first appeared on the 3rd afternoon. As the time drew near, nerves gripped me. In the crowds returning home from work, someone suddenly fell and began convulsing. Watching through binoculars, I saw people gather around the person by the subway entrance. My heart twisted with anxiety. Within a minute, the person got up and attacked a nearby girl with a horrifying speed. Her screams echoed as he bit into her, tearing a chunk of her arm off. Chaos erupted as some tried to help. Others took videos, and yet more stood paralyzed by fear. The bitten girl soon arose herself, dragging a half-useless body toward the crowd. More people were bitten, and the street descended into chaos with terrifying roars from the transformed. Those quick to catch on sprinted toward the residential area, shouting, "They're zombies! Run!" The cry triggered a stampede in all directions. I watched the bloody street as some dashed into the complex, with zombies following close behind. The security guards, unaware of the danger, tried to intervene and were quickly overpowered, rising again grotesquely changed. Even having survived one apocalypse before, the scene made my head spin. With trembling hands, I made some noodles and scrolled through the news on my phone. Social media was in shambles, trending with shocking images of zombie attacks. Officials promptly issued statements urging people to stay indoors, reassuring swift action. It was a mirror of what happened last time. I didn't know if the apocalypse would end, but I'll always have faith in my country. Checking the community group chat, I saw it ablaze with panic over the attack at the gate. Survivors, still in shock, exchanged accounts of the terrifying zombies, while my obnoxious, know-it-all boyfriend chimed in, "Is that all? Think we're in a movie." His brainless comment incited outrage, and the group flooded him with retorts until he fell silent. I watched in amusement as Duan Su angrily tossed his phone aside. Su Qing, panicking beside him, said, "Suji, the news says there really are zombies. What do we do?" "Stay home obediently. Are you really afraid a zombie will get in and bite you?" Duan Su scoffed. "As for that dead woman Zhang Jing, she's probably already zombie chow by now. Once this all blows over, the house and money will be ours." Su Qing's eyes lit up with greed, momentarily forgetting the zombie apocalypse. I chuckled at their delusions. Whether I survived or not was uncertain, but I knew they wouldn't last. If memory served, they didn't have much food left at home. Let's see how long their comfort lasts. On the fourth day after the zombie outbreak, my routine consisted of sleeping, eating, and watching the shameless duo across the street. Today was especially hot for so early in the morning. At 6 a.m., the sun blazed as if it were noon. I didn't dare turn on the air conditioning and instead moved all the portable fans into the living room. I made myself a bowl of snail noodles and settled in front of the computer, tuning into the surveillance feed to watch the pair as if they were a show. They seemed to be managing well enough. Food hadn't yet become scarce, and both water and electricity were still running. Despite the zombies wandering around outside and occasional government broadcast, it was almost like pre-apocalypse life. Duan Su and Su Qing, likely woken by the heat, turned on the air conditioner. The loud hum of the outdoor unit attracted nearby zombies. Last time, this action led zombies straight to their door, the stench seeping in and stressing out Pudding, who then started meowing loudly. Su Qing grabbed Pudding from me and urged Duan Su to kill him. Thinking about it, I glanced at Pudding lounging on the living room floor, delightfully basking in the breeze from a fan and looking adorably content. Maybe we should turn the air conditioner off? What if it causes trouble with the noise? Duan Su's voice crackled through the computer. At least he had some sense. With our complex's already low occupancy, few managed to return when the outbreak began. Now, no one dared to turn on air conditioning, making the area eerily quiet. Their unit was conspicuously loud. Su Qing pouted, clearly displeased, and muttered in protest, "How can we survive this heat without air conditioning? Do you want me to die from the heat?" Duan Su shot her a disbelieving look, evidently shocked by her defiance and growing angry at her tone. "Do you think you're someone special because I pamper you? Even that dead woman Zhang Jing wouldn't talk to me like that." Feeling slighted, Su Qing turned off the air conditioner and, seizing the opportunity while Duan was napping, greedily downed the few remaining bottles of mineral water in the house. I was thoroughly entertained. Not even out of supplies yet, and they were already at each other's throats.